churches
in the 70s, 90s, folks. That's why Australia's missing from the top.
Oh, that's silly.
Yeah, no, but that's cool.
Also over on the far left-hand side, folks, you're going to see a fairly modern. Now my next stop is going to be stop 7, and that is for the Wargosh Energy.
But it's not open yet, so you'll have to wait another 40 minutes before it opens. There is a small fee for the entry into the Writers Museum, which is ahead of us here on the left hand side. Now, have we anyone there for stop number 2? You're making your way up the stairs because I don't want any Humpty Dumpties on this bus today. Here on the right hand side, guys, this is the Garden of Remembrance. The Garden of Remembrance was opened back in 1966. It was open to remember all those people who lost their lives fighting during the 1916 risings. If you look down to the end of the garden, you can see a bronze statue. The statue means children of leader. And now you have the Gate Theatre, and the Gate Theatre opened back in 1923. It was founded by Hilton Edwards and Lee Hall MacLeamore. And it was inside the Gate Theatre. That's where James Mason and Orson Welles began their acting careers. Tallest monument in the world. It stands at 120 metres in height. It was erected back in 2003 by the Dublin City Council, and it was designed by the British engineer Ian Ritchie. Now the spire is the only monument on the street that has no political. Over here on my right hand side, guys, this is the General Post Office, better known as the GPO. The GPO was used as the headquarters during the 1916 Easter Rising, and all of the leaders that were captured inside the GPO were all marched down to the main jail and executed on regular guard of the prison. For now, guys, I'd like to walk that document to the Chariots of Light. It's also designed by Upton Kelly. It's not exactly the Bellagio fountain, but it is. Looking up here now on my right hand side, considered to be Gandon's finest piece of work here in Dublin City. If you look at the 4 statues standing above the pillars there at the back of the building, them statues, they represented the 4 trading continents of the world at the time. The reason there's not 5 statues there is because trading was designed by an Irish artist called Tony O'Malley, and it's there for all the people who are illegally incarcerated around the world to let them know that they've not been forgotten about. that many Irish people had to make back in the late 1840s. They would have had to walk down here along the banks of the River Liffey, more tall ships. They were emigrating from Ireland because they were starving. The Irish people back in the late 1840s were starving because of the Great Potato Famine. So people either had a choice. Anybody that had any land or any bit of money, they sold up what they had and they boarded these tall ships. And they would have left Ireland and made their ways across the Atlantic Ocean. They would have travelled to places like the United States of America, Canada, and even as far off as... It's a story, it tells the story of the Irish diaspora around the world. And guys, if you look in here on your left hand side, you can see down into the vaults of the bonded warehouse. And they used to keep things down there like tobacco, gunpowder, and whiskey. All the things you need for a good... Dublin famine ship, guys, it made 16 voyages across the Atlantic Ocean. It mostly sailed to Quebec in Canada, but it also sailed to Boston and New York. And the weather got too bad in Canada, it would have made its way into New York or Boston. His brothers. And Nicholas Donovan, he always insisted on having a fully qualified doctor travel aboard his vessel at all times for any medical cases that might arise. One day a heavily pregnant woman gave birth to a little boy on board the team. The bridge was designed by the Spanish engineer Santiago Calatrava. It's one of two bridges in Dublin City designed by Mr. Calatrava, and the other bridge you'll see later on this tour. Now guys, we're going to cross over the Samuel Beckett Bridge. We're going to cross from the north side of Dublin City to the south side. Now guys, the River Liffey, that's the river we're crossing. This is the unofficial border of Dublin City. It doesn't matter what part of the world you come from. If you live in Dublin, you're either one of two types of people. You're either a north sider or a south sider. Now the north side of Dublin City is by far the much nicer side. That's where all the genuine friends. Roach, who now has his business based in New York. Guys, that's a lovely little pub there on the right hand side. It's called the Ferryman. O'Brien's the Ferryman. Dublin, the King's Town in Dunleary. Now guys, have anybody for Western Strolling? Tasted. So don't just bring and have one, have a half a dozen. Them ladies, they're hanging around, they've been there since last night waiting for those. Writers in the world. Some of my favourite quotes from Oscar Wilde are: women are to be loved, not understood. Our marriage is grand, but divorce is 20 grand. And guys, if you look ahead of us on the left hand side, you can see the statue of Oscar Wilde sitting on the rock. See him there? Just inside the park on the left hand side.
And he lived there until the age of 23 years old.
Leinster House in just a moment. It's coming up on the right hand side. Leinster House was built back in 1745. It was designed by a man called Richard Castles, and he built it for James Fitzgerald, the Earl of Kildare. Now, today it's used by the Irish government, and it's still here on your right hand side. And as you can see, not a whole lot really goes on there. Now guys, also on the right hand side you have the Natural History Museum of Ireland, and it opens in about 40 minutes. That's it there on the right hand side. All the local of all the animals in there are well past their sell by date now at this stage. Varadkar. And Mr. Varadkar, he has his office here in this building on the right hand side. And in my opinion, Mr. Varadkar does the work of two men, Laurel and Hardy. Here on the left hand side, number 24, that was the birthplace of Arthur Wellesley. The first Duke of Wellington was born inside that house, and the house now makes up part of the 5-star Berrien Hotel. A hotel where there's more staff. the right hand side, that's the mansion house. It was built back in 1710 by Joshua Dawson. He sold it 5 years later to the Irish government for £3,500. It's now home to Dublin City Lord. That's where Bram Stoker got married. Bram Stoker, he was the Dublin-born author of Dracula. And he married a lady in there, her name was Frances Balfour. Frances Balfour was actually his lover. Guys, have I anybody there for a castle? Come on down. 16th of October 1854, Oscar Wilde was born inside that house on my left hand side. Some more quotes from Oscar Wilde. There were two brothers who were captured inside the GPO after the 1960s, right? And both the brothers were taken to the Lake My right hand side have the largest and the busiest police station in the country. This is Pierce Street Garda Station. It's not. The reason it's such a busy police station is all because of its location. It's located here on the south side of Dublin City. And then people, they're not very nice either. In Ireland, and it caused a bit of an alarm to the authorities at the time. So they paid off all the politicians to drive money to land. And by doing this, this returned ruled Westminster and London. The building was then sold on to the Bank of Ireland Group, and the Bank of Ireland have been operating here since the year 1800. Still operating here today. Guys, here on the left hand side, that's the main entrance into Trinity College there, built back in 1592. And I studied for 2 years at Trinity College. I studied to play Above the gateway you'll see the Statue of Justice, and if you look very closely you'll notice she has her back to the city of Dublin. Now the locals used to have an old poem about the Statue of Justice, and it went like this: the Statue of Justice, mark well her station, her face to the castle and her arse to the nation. Now, so guys, get your cameras out, and this joint Christ Church by a neo-Gothic bridge, said to be inspired by the Bridge of Sighs in Venice. Now guys, every July they set up a water slide here at Christ Church. It goes all the way down one Cabin Street. You might see it if you look in under the arch bridge here on the right hand side. They have a water slide. It goes all the way down the hill. Great place to send your mother-in-law. Stick her on the slide. Woohoo! See you later. Benjamin Lee that the cathedral is still standing today. Now guys, if you look in behind the railings here on the left hand side, you'll see a statue of Benjamin Lee Guinness, and you'll notice he doesn't look very happy. Now there's a couple of reasons why he's not happy. The first reason is maybe that's the restoration bill he's holding in his left hand. Maybe he had too many pints of Guinness the night before, or maybe he's like all these people waiting on the red bus. Not that. So guys, there's a service taking place in the cathedral at the moment, so it's not open. Go in and look around at the moment, so keep that in mind if you are getting. Now guys, here on your left hand side, this is Marsh's Library. Please get me this. See here's the Marsh on the left hand side. Marsh's Library is the oldest public library in Ireland. It opened back in 1701. It was opened by Bishop Narcissus Marsh. What's the first thing you do? You pull the phone out of the pocket and you ask Google. Distillery here on your right hand side. Look at the beautiful building and the lovely blue paintwork on the front door. Be very careful if you are drinking Irish whiskey, because not only will it blow the head off you and make you feel a little bit tipsy and make you smile a lot, but if you drink too much Irish whiskey, guys, it can also make you see double and act single. So keep that in mind, okay? Double and act single. Guys, Cathedral on your right hand side. Now guys, back in the 12th century, Dublin City is a big wall going around. Big wall. before it was delivered to the local taverns in the area. Arthur Guinness was probably standing there wondering, would his product ever take off? And if Arthur was still with us today, he'd now still be making Guinness here. Great crack. Now guys, if you are getting off here at the brewery, just remember, please take all your personal belongings with you. Like phones, wallets, handbags, cameras and children. Bring them with you. The last bus will be here tonight is the last bus. But if you miss the last bus, don't worry, it's not the end of the world. Because we have another bus that comes around at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So nobody will be left behind, alright? Now, here we are guys, this is the brewery. Go hard or go home. Okay? Guys, enjoy yourselves. And if you enjoyed this tour, my name is Anthony. If you didn't enjoy it, my name is
the Liffey barge. These steam-powered boats carried Guinness down the River Liffey to the port of Dublin, where the casks were loaded off ships and taken to England. To help the barges squeeze out the low Liffey bridges, Guinness engineers designed specially hinged funnels that could be lowered, and to keep the barges off the river bed, they were built with a very shallow draft. Guinness was now extended throughout Ireland and beyond. A steady increase in demand had required that Guinness expand the brewery and increase its production.